So I'm back in here in Citizen Sleeper. I'm out of dice and I'm declining. I'm gonna end the cycle. So here I am now. I've been given a couple of decent dice. Feel like I'm going to have to use that stabilizer. Help set up the distillery. Gonna take a long time though. Volunteer at the commune. Work your way into a shipyard crew. Okay, I can do only one at a time. Tracking. Okay, I'm going to do it. Better inject that stabilizer. Good. So I get it. That restores my body repaired right up. The bar right up to the top. So I can remember that. Across the greenway. This is the commune stuff here. Yeah. Safe options. I can work the canteen. That's it nicely. I can also work the grow beds. That's a +1. That's advanced it nicely. Hyphen member. That's used up my dice. So, across the room, come down to home. End the cycle again. More dice this time. And one really decent one. I've got a couple of 2s. Is there anything in here? Yeah. Couple of yet again agents. And other than that, I'm going to stay focused on what I'm doing here, so I'm going to go over here. The +1 option is that one. Yeah. I'm almost a hyphen member. I am now. What's opened up here now is Haifa Dorm, commune sleeping quarters, and Rico. You head down into the Haifa compound, following a blue painted line that is labelled laboratories. The member you were assigned to work with told you they'd asked to see you, but you still have no idea what about. The line takes you to a blue door and through to a glass roof chamber where a network of stems and leaves filters the sunlight coming through the ceiling, casting the whole chamber in a strange yellow-green. Peaceful, isn't it? Distracted by the green, you miss the woman standing at a lab bench, camouflaged by the dappled light. Welcome to my sanctuary, she smiles. Come, let's talk. What is this place? Here, these were process centres for the agriculture of the old corporate station. I'm Rico. What is Haifa? You've been working in the compound for a while now. I'm surprised you don't know more. She lifts a tiny sample jar. Yellow spores dance inside. Haifa lives off the land of the Greenway. It's what allows us to live like we do. No one here pays or is paid. We sleep here. We feed each other. We work for each other. Rico walks away from the bench and waves for you to follow. She opens a small door and leads you down a glass corridor surrounded by vivid green. All this, she says, gesturing at the overgrowth, it's a kind of miracle. She looks at you with bright eyes. What do you think usually happens to plants on stations like this when they are abandoned? They die, they dry up, or they keep growing? They die? Eventually, yes, they cannot live without intervention. She leads you left at a crossroads, but here they endured. She smiles to herself. Actually, no, they thrived. You look at the bright tendrils wrapped around the metal frames of the corridor. They look dominant, strong, like they are taking control of this place. Rico continues. Of course, Solheim tried to create a stable biosphere here, patchworking the surface with gardens and algae tanks that feed into a network of microbial reclamation systems, but the Greenway was always envisaged as extractive, a place from which the harvest is removed and sold to those living on the station, not a closed loop. For this reason, when the collapse came, the Greenway should have gone with it. Erling himself was so convinced of it that his first colony never even came here to try to reclaim it. The Eye instead relied on outside favours and influences, shipments from the inner system, and small-scale agriculture systems to kelp and fungal farm stacks. And yet here we are among growth and decay, a biosphere flourishing. When Haifa came here, we expected to find only vacuum-dried stalks and leaves, and perhaps some fungal colonies hidden in the mulch. But we found a jungle. With this, Rico hits a button on the wall and leads you through a large pair of double doors into a huge, impossible chamber. It is every kind of green, from the pale algae tanks to the dark vines that surround them. It is wet too, a rarity on the Eye. Condensation clouds the light from the high glass roof and gathers on the shiny broad leaves of shrubs. How? That is exactly our question. Rico turns to you, visibly excited by the room you both stand in. It doesn't make sense, but in many ways the system is stabilised, unlike the farm stacks closer to the gap. Perhaps Solheim managed something new here. Perhaps they tweaked the plants or built new systems buried deep below us. Or perhaps their collapse caused some fortunate cascade, an unlikely chemical reaction within the biosphere. That's what I'd like you to help me find out. Aren't you the botanist? Astutely noticed, but I don't need a botanist. These halls run deep, Sleeper, and I'm getting old. She stamps her foot on the metal grating of the walkway. Whatever is causing this, it's to be found in the groves deep in the Greenway. Haifa won't spare anyone for an expedition. It's too dangerous and unnecessary, they say. I can make the case, but I can't get the votes. You Sleepers are hardy beings, I know that much, and you can speak to the Eye, uncover its secrets, in ways I never can. She holds out an arm so you can help her stand. Bring me samples, spores, seeds, and blooms. I can grow them in the lab and study them. The deeper they are found, the better. I will try. Thank you. Rico leads you back out of the huge chamber and up through the passages. She's a little slower now and stumbles on the steps. You help her where you can. It's good to have a new blood in the commune, she says. Many of us have been here a long time. A few come through. She settles back at her bench in the lab. You go to leave. Come back if you find something, Sleeper, she calls. There are discoveries to be made. And you follow the blue line back up out of the compound, all the time thinking of that impossible magical green. So the Hypha Labs, the dorm. So this is another, effectively this is a second home here. I can use my perk to sunbathe or self-repair, and I can end the cycle here. I can still do a work assignment there. The Hypha Labs. I can deliver spores when I have any. I haven't got any right now. And that's the risky option, the danger option for gathering scrap. I'm still doing the green way at the moment. I've got options there. I've also got options back this way. So there's a lot to think about. I want to try and work on this as well. The structural fitting option, although that plus, I don't get the benefit of that +1, but it's safe option. And I get paid a little bit as well. Welder's mate's been increased. Return home, I've run out of dice, and I'm going to end cycle. Okay, next cycle. And I lost some perks here. I'm sure I have more. Build a these are the quests I've got at the moment. Build a ship mine, disable your tracker. Actually, you miss me? Ethan smiles a ragged smile at you. No. You look at him, he is paler than usual, hunched. He is sporting a black eye and more than a few cycles of beard growth. That's no way to greet an old friend. Get lost. Ethan's face drops along with all pretense of friendliness. I think you want to hear this, Sleeper, I think he says, rapidly shaking his head. You'll really want to hear this. Hear what? This is big, really big stuff about you. You remember now how SNR cancelled the contract on you, the contract I was going to collect? Well, I'm guessing you were pretty happy about that shit. Overjoyed me. I lost everything, but let's not worry about that. He smiles sarcastically, and so, what did you think? That was it? Stay silent. Well, it was, except Ethan leaves a dramatic pause. What if old SNR gave the bounty to someone else? Someone who is even more of a shithead than yours truly. He smiles darkly. What a disaster that would be. Who? That's the question, isn't it? I've been speaking to some friends, you see, some colleagues about what went down, and it turns out SNR cancelled all their bounty contracts, the whole lot. It seems they've brought someone in-house, some guy who did such a good job on their last contract that they got offered a job. Apparently he made a hit on this ship called the Winter Wonderland or something. It was smuggling sleepers out from under SNR's big corporate nose. He killed the crew and blew the ship. They called him Hemwick or Maywick or something. He gives up looking for the paper. I forget. You mean Winterlight? That's it. He looks at you hard. So you do know about all this. He pats you on the shoulder. Then you'll be very happy to hear what I'm about to offer you. Ethan runs his hands through his greasy hair. Given this new information I've brought to light, it seems like you're in need of protection. Wait for the pitch. I, meanwhile, am in need of assistance in kind. It turns out I upset some people at the compressor the last time we were there. The owners, and they say they'll space me unless I work off the debt. Seems that they are that kind of businessmen. He grimaces. I would pay them, but... He shrugs and turns his jacket pockets inside out in a mime of poverty. He looks pitiful, even more so for his clownish acting. Then work it off. You should be glad, the anger rising in him now, that I came here and told you this. You think anyone is looking out for you? You are a contractor, name on a list. He kicks the wall. Ethan rubs his temples. I'm sorry, he says, I'm sorry for being a shit and trying to kill you and whacking that thick skull of yours. He sighs. You think I want to go up against this guy? But us, he jabs a finger between the two of you. We don't have a choice. So you keep me from getting killed and I'll do the same for you. We can help each other, a straight 50-50 deal. He looks at you. I'm not asking for a favour. Fine. He pauses, just think about Maywick. Think about that cold eye SNR shit on his way here from the core systems. He smiles, that should give you the motivation you need. Ethan swaggers off down the corridor, throwing his jacket over his shoulder. New drive. Maywick's been added here now. Ethan says Maywick is on their way. You'll need to leave the station, get protection, or disable your tracker before they arrive. So you can see this... The cycle clock is here, so quite a lot of cycles. I'm working on disable my tracker now. And that emphasizes I really have to get working on this. That's the hub. These are risky options. Go across the greenway. I'm not seeing anything here as markers for work assignment. I'm not sure what I get from that. The only way to find out is to do it. I have to do a work assignment. Gives me some energy. I've been working on the Greenway stuff. I'm going to work on it some more because that adds one to the dice. Going green. Lost some energy. But this is almost complete. That's a danger option. go back. I've got a dice here, 1 and 2. Not very good ones. I figured I'd use these in here if I can. That's a 1. That's a 2. What's that? The final dice. I'm working on unit assembly over here. I'm going to carry on working on this. And Welder's mate is increased. And I get a bit of cryo as well. Because at the moment I don't have a vial. I got an upgrade. I don't know when I got the upgrade point, but I got an upgrade point. And I was thinking I'm going to increase interface, maybe. Working towards icebreaker. I'm out of dice, so I'll go home. And I'm going to end the cycle. So there's a potential game over. All good dice this time around. The Maywick thing is a worry here. You'll need to either leave the station, get protection, or disable your tracker before they arrive. Disable your tracker. Help Feng choose his leads. I'm not getting an indicator. To buy another vial will cost me 80, so I need to remember that. Feng isn't here. I'm going to have to explore other options. Get protection. I've got another one of those. I've got a good set of dice this time around. So, I need to work on. Need a ship mind for that. Okay, this thing is back. It's offloading scrap. So when this thing is docked, I got options here too to unload containers. I'll pay a wage. This gives me the option to buy some scrap as well with cryo. You do have an allowance. So I'm definitely going to do one in here. Danger option. Gets me cryo. I use some of that cryo. Gotta buy some scrap. There. I have one scrap. Might buy some more. I've got an allowance. Yeah, I'll buy some more again. Can't buy any more after that. Got the Ort Exchange. Playing the exchange to try and get trusted trader, but there's a -1 there. Got it. So I think that's given me the fabricator. Fabricate ship mind. And I need at least 2 of these. Ship mines cannot be built from scratch, but if you have enough salvaged fragments, it can be reassembled with a fabricator. So I'm going to need 3 fragments. Don't have any right now. So let's unlock that. There's the club. I got options here now. There's Ethan's debt. Can work the front. Both are danger options. Work in the door, taking delivery, staffing the bar, front work at the compressor is a cocktail of shouted orders, alcohol and violence. Work at the back, wash up, stock check, cleaning, prep work, back work at the compressor is all bad smells, flickering lights, and hard scrubbing. Both of these link to Ethan's debt. Figure I'll work the back. Yeah. I'm figuring right now that if I get this all the way up, then I might get the protection of Ethan for the other stuff which is going to be happening later, so definitely got to think about that one there. But is anything I want to complete from over here? Oh, a new one. Mushroom groves. This is where I collect spores and stuff. -1 though. I've got to collect spores for somebody over here. I've almost finished exploring the Greenway. Deliver spores to this person here. Aha! Let's try and finish up some stuff here if I can. Two really decent dice left. Man, there's tough choices here. Okay, I got a couple of spores. There you go. Grateful for the contribution. Hard to make choices. Let's unload containers. And I get some money. Back at the unit assembly, I wanted to work on this. The structural fitting. Done. Each shift, a crowd of would-be workers gather outside the shipyard, each of them clinging to a 4-digit number printed on receipt paper. These are their assignment numbers, and you are either called for a shift or you aren't. As you arrive, the crowd is restless and chatter rumbles through the lines. For those who, like you, have graduated to the work team, shifts are guaranteed. Having just walked out of a meeting with the supervisor where you were praised for your efforts, you feel the glow of a job well done. Yet you can't help but feel empathy for those huddled as you pass, waiting for their number to come up. You keep your head down as you leave the shipyard, feeling a little guilty as you do. Hey, sleeper, wait up. Lem's voice trembles as he shouts above the rumble of the crowd, and you turn to see him pushing through. Lem, good to see you, friend. You made the work team, good for you. He tries to catch his breath. He smiles weakly at you as he comforts her, and her cries start to fade. Out of the crowd, he sets Mina down by his side, shining streaks down both of her cheeks. As he does, you can see he is clutching an assignment number on a crumpled piece of paper. Waiting on a shift? Uh-huh. I don't know who. A noise sounds from the entrance, a klaxon followed by a list of numbers growing brightly on a display screen. The crowd responds instantly, pushing and pulling as people try to wade to the entry checkpoint. Lem stops and turns back towards the crowd, then glances down at the crumpled paper. That's my number. Go, I'll watch her. He blinks a little, staring, thank you. He crouches to Mina. You are going to stay with our friend here, okay? They're going to keep you safe, and he stands back. Here, take her bag. He shoves it into your hands. She's got food. Should I have to go? He backs away into the crowd. Mina, I'll be back real soon, okay? Then Lem disappears into the roiling crowd, who are now trying to get into the shipyard before it locks down. Mina stands staring, suddenly small without Lem at her side. She fixes you with a dark-eyed stare you can't quite read. Hey. She holds the stare unmoving, the two parallel tear tracks still glint on her cheeks. Okay? She sniffs and looks down, look in the bag. You unlatch the top of the bag and see a few metal containers fashioned from scrap components. A battered slate sits on top, blinking a low battery warning, and tucked beside it is a ragged rabbit handsaw. Take the rabbit. You pull the rabbit out of the bag, its long limbs waggling as you do. Mina goes to jump and grab it, but holds herself back. She stands and hugs herself, eyes on the rabbit. What's their name? Mina turns away and looks at the entrance to the shipyard. This isn't going well. Give her the rabbit. You hold the rabbit out and Mina snatches it from your hand. She hugs it tightly without looking away from you. Bun Bun, she says, staring you down, ferocious despite her size. Nice name. You move a little closer as you speak, closing the gap. She looks at you suspiciously, but her face softens a little. She waggles bun in front of you and then walks him up your arm and onto your shoulder where he sits. She pokes your arm a couple of times. Are you really a robot? I am. Lots of questions. But before long you were talking about rabbits and what Esther, the lady who usually takes her, smells like, and whether or not fairies live in the ice heating pipes. You pass the time like this, sitting side by side on the floor of the walkway, as others pass by, sometimes talking, sometimes drawing on the slate, sometimes playing with Bun the rabbit. And this is how Lem finds you, just as both of you are starting to yawn. He is dirty and tired, but Mina leaps up his legs and into his arms as he stumbles backwards. You two get on okay, he asks, trying to keep Mina from climbing onto his shoulders. Yeah. Mina shoots you a smile from Lem's arms, her suspicion gone. Well, looks like Mina can be nice. He pokes her on the ribs and she squeals in delight. Thank you, friend, I mean it. He gives you a warm, wide smile. I owe you. Look, he glances around. It seems like Esther, the lady who usually watches her, is going to be out for a spell. If you ever have some time, I'd really appreciate you coming down to our place in the low end. If you have time. But now I have to take this one to eat. See you, sleeper, he waves, and they stumble off down the corridor, drawing gazes from passing spacers as Mina's laughter echoes down the corridor in bright squeals. New drive discovered. So, oh, here. This is Lem and Mina's unit. This is the low end, where I can play Tavla and block maintenance. Haven't started working on that yet. Go here to babysit. A ticket out. Lem can't work shifts in the shipyard unless someone watches Mina. You two seemed to get along last time. So if you do that, eventually you get a ticket out. Unless Lem gets time in the shipyard, he won't qualify for the side rail crew lottery. Watching Mina gives him that chance. But I'm out of dice. So I go home and I need to end the cycle and end this part of the video. I'm starving now. Saved 20 seconds ago. And 38 minutes on the clock. See you next time.